Some fans believe that Season 8 will finally close the circle that time will fold in on itself. The opening shot of the standing stones, glowing faintly in fog, might not be a memory. It might be a warning. In Diana Gabaldon's world, time isn't a straight line. It loops, twists, and sometimes bleeds into itself. What if Jamie and Claire's journey has always been part of that loop? What if every goodbye we've seen was already written long before they met? One of the biggest theories whispers of a final crossing that Claire, her last desperate act, may try to change something she was never meant to touch. The trailer's fragmented imagery, her holding a pocket watch, a reflection flickering like broken glass, could point to one truth. The laws of time are about to shatter. Fans wonder if that pocket watch belongs to someone long gone, or someone who's yet to be born. And then there's some viewers notice the strange way his scenes are lit, sometimes in firelight, sometimes in shadow, as if he's caught between worlds. Could this mean his time is almost up? Or is he, in some way, becoming part of the legend himself, the ghost that started it all in the very first episode? That theory has haunted fans for years. Was Jamie always destined to be the spirit that watches over Claire before they ever met? If so, Season 8 might finally reveal how love becomes eternal, not through time travel, but through memory. Brianna and Roger's storyline carries its own mystery. The trailer flashes to a moment where Brianna stands over an old grave marked with initials barely visible FM. Could it be Fergus? Could it be someone she's yet to lose? Theories spread fast, each more heartbreaking than the last. Some believe Brianna's arc will complete the cycle, that her children will one day become the reason. The stones still hum with power, and yet, for every theory that deals in logic, there's one that deals in heart. Outlander has never just been about how time works. It's about why love survives it. Theories about reincarnation, destiny, and echoes through history aren't just wild guesses. They're reflections of what the show has always said, that some souls are meant to find each other, again and again. No matter the century, in one of the most haunting trailer shots, Claire whispers, "We were never meant to stay." Fans can't agree on who she's speaking to, Jamie, Brianna, or herself. But maybe that's the point. Maybe the final season isn't about staying at all. Maybe it's about letting go, not in sorrow, but in peace. The true meaning of Outlander has always been buried between moments in the quiet before the battle, in the spaces between centuries, in the hands that refuse to let go. Every theory may lead to heartbreak, but it's the search for meaning that keeps fans watching. Because deep down, we all want to believe that love, real love, doesn't need time to exist. And as Season 8 looms closer, that belief feels stronger than ever. Maybe the story was never about finding a way home. Maybe it was about realizing that home was never a place, it was a person. There's a moment, quiet, almost invisible, that every Outlander fan knows. It's not a battle, not a kiss, not even a goodbye. It's that small pause between breaths when Jamie looks at Claire, and time seems to stop. That's the heartbeat of this story. Not the war, not the stones, not the history, but that look, that connection that defies logic, distance, and even death. For nearly a decade, Outlander has carried us through centuries. From mist-covered Scotland to the thunder of revolution, we've watched two souls chase each other through time, not because they had to, but because they couldn't do anything else. Every touch, every letter, every tear has been a reminder that love doesn't wait for permission. It just is. Season 8 isn't just another season. It's a farewell not only to Jamie and Claire, but to everything they've taught us. About courage, about loss, about the kind of love that doesn't fade, even when the world demands it should. As the story nears its end, it feels like the characters are standing in that fragile space between past and future, holding on to what little time they have left. What makes Outlander special isn't just the time travel or the romance, it's the way it captures humanity's oldest truth. We're all trying to find our way home. For Claire, that home was never a place. It was a heartbeat, Jamie's heartbeat. For Jamie, it was the impossible, a woman who didn't belong to his century. yet somehow belonged to him more than anyone ever could. The emotional weight of this final season lies not in what's said, but in what's felt. When you've watched two people lose each other again and again, and still find their way back, you start to understand something deeper. Love, in Outlander, isn't fragile. It's fierce. It's stubborn. It survives prisons, oceans, and centuries. And maybe that's why this ending hurts so much, because part of us doesn't want to believe that even time can stop them. Fans who've followed this story from the beginning have grown up with it. We've changed, just like they have. We've seen the world shift, but somehow, Outlander remained that one constant. A story that reminded us that loyalty and love still matter in a world obsessed with speed and distraction. That's what makes this goodbye different. It's not the end of a show. It's the end of an era. When Claire once said, "I was dead, but for you," it wasn't just a line. It was the truth of Outlander. Every life they've lived, every time they've crossed paths, every war they've survived, it was never about escaping fate. It was about surrendering to it. Because some souls are simply meant to collide, no matter the century. And as we stand on the edge of their final chapter, there's a kind of stillness that feels like peace. Maybe this time, they won't have to run. Maybe they'll finally find the home they've been chasing through centuries. Because that's what Outlander has always been about. Not the end of time, the endurance of love. A love so strong, it made history bend around it. The fire is fading. But the story isn't over yet. Every step Jamie and Claire have taken, every war, every goodbye, every impossible choice has led here. The end of time is calling, and once again, they must decide whether love can defy destiny one last time. The trailer doesn't whisper anymore. It roars. You can feel it in every frame, the rush of history, the tremble of farewell. There's no turning back. The journey that began at Craigh done, with a heartbeat and a circle of stones, is about to close its loop. But endings in Outlander have never been simple. They've always been bittersweet, like the final page of a letter that was never meant to be finished. Jamie stands in the field, sword in hand, not as a warrior, but as a man who's finally understood that love is his greatest rebellion. Claire, standing beside him, carries the weight of 2 lifetimes, her heart torn between the world she left behind and the one she built in fire and blood. You can almost hear her voice in the wind. We've come too far to stop now. The sky glows red, not just from war, but from the dawn of something final. The battles may end, but the echoes remain. And that's what Season 8 promises. A reckoning not with the enemy, but with time itself. The story that once bent centuries is about to test whether even eternity can be conquered by love. The faces we see in the trailer, Fergus, Ian, Lord John, Brianna, Roger, all carry that same look. Grief mixed with hope. It's the expression of people who know that the end is near, but also that some things never truly end. The bonds they've forged, the sacrifices they've made, the children they've raised, they'll live on. Even when the story fades to black, the voiceover in the trailer says, "Every story leaves a mark. Ours was carved in time." And maybe that's the truth at the heart of Outlander. Time doesn't erase love, it preserves it. The letters, the memories, the ghostly moments between centuries, they don't vanish. They become part of the timeline itself. As the screen fades, the music swells, bagpipes turning into strings, strings fading into silence. And in that silence, there's a kind of peace. Because this isn't a tragedy, it's a promise fulfilled. The promise that love, no matter how impossible, will always find a way. For fans, this is more than just a goodbye. It's a reminder of why we watched, not for the battles or the history, but for the courage to believe that something eternal could live inside something temporary. And so, as the final chapter begins, one truth remains unshaken: time may break hearts, but it cannot break love. Because love, as Outlander taught us, is the only thing powerful enough to travel through centuries and still return home. The stones have been waiting. The echoes are calling. And the story that began with one impossible journey is ready to end exactly where it began, with a heartbeat, a promise, and a love that never learned how to die. The war is coming, and time is running out. Jamie and Craigh have survived battles, loss, centuries, but the storm that's about to hit will test their love more than ever before. The Outlander Season 7 finale left us with heartbreak, hope, and 1,000 questions. And now, as the Season 8 trailer finally drops, we're closer than ever to the end of this time-twisting love story. What really happened in those final moments of Season 7? What does it mean for the last chapter of Outlander? Let's break down the ending that changed everything. The end of Outlander Season 7 wasn't just another cliffhanger. It was a turning point in the entire series. Everything we've seen so far, from the Highlands of Scotland to the heart of the American Revolution, led to this moment. The season closed with Jamie and Craigh caught between two worlds, love and war, peace and chaos, past and future. As the final episodes unfolded, we saw the tension between loyalty and destiny reach its peak. The war for independence was no longer just history, it became personal. Jamie, torn between his Scottish heart and his American duty, faced a choice that would shape his family's fate. Craigh, as always, stood beside him, not just as his healer and wife, but as his anchor in a world that keeps tearing them apart. Meanwhile, Brianna and Roger's story took a shocking turn. Trapped in a different century, they fought not just for their children, but for a way back home. The revelation about Buck Mackenzie's true identity and the strange disappearance of Jemmy left fans stunned. It's more than a time travel mystery. It's a reminder that history never stays still in Outlander. Every action ripples through time, changing everything in ways no one can predict. The final shots of the season were powerful and quiet all at once. Jamie and Craigh looked out over a world on fire, the revolution fully underway. You could see the weariness in their eyes, but also the fire that's never gone out between them. It's the same love that's carried them through prisons, battles, separations, and centuries. But now, it feels like the story is circling back to where it all began, with fate challenging them once again. The Season 7 ending wasn't about victory or defeat, it was about endurance. It reminded us that Jamie and Claire's love isn't just about passion or romance. It's survival. It's the heartbeat that keeps the story alive, even when the world around them falls apart. And as they step into the chaos of war, one thing is certain, every choice from here on will carry a price. That final fade-out wasn't closure. It was a warning, a whisper, that the past still has unfinished business. And now, with Season 8 being the final chapter, every unanswered question, every lost moment, and every promise made through time will come back for resolution. The world of Outlander has always been about crossing boundaries between eras, between realities, and between what's meant to be and what we fight to change. Season 7 ended on that perfect edge, love versus time and hope versus destiny. The smoke of war still lingers, but the silence after the finale feels heavier than any battle. Outlander Season 7 may have ended, but it didn't give us peace. It gave us questions that echo louder than cannon fire. Every character now stands on the edge of something final. And that edge is where Season 8 begins. The air feels different this time. We know this isn't just another chapter. It's the last one. For the first time, Jamie and Claire's journey feels like it's looping back to where it all started. Fate pulling them toward the end of their story. The faces are older, the hearts more scarred, and yet the love between them still burns brighter than any flame. That's the cruel beauty of Outlander. Time gives and time takes, but it never lets go. The world around them is collapsing into revolution. The American colonies are at war, lines are drawn, and everyone must choose a side. But for Jamie and Craigh, sides mean nothing. They've fought kings and clans, empires and destinies. Their only loyalty is to each other, and that's what makes their struggle so powerful. It's not about who wins the war. It's about whether love can survive the fire. Brianna and Roger's story, far away in time yet tied by blood, mirrors their parents' battle. They've crossed centuries for family, and now that bond is being tested again. Will time let them reunite? Or will they remain trapped in their own timeline, watching history repeat itself from afar? Every Outlander fan knows that time travel in this story isn't magic, it's sacrifice. And Season 8 will push that idea to its breaking point. But beyond the battles and heartbreak, there's something deeper stirring. Outlander has always been about more than romance or history. It's about identity. Who are we when time keeps trying to erase us? What do we hold on to when everything else fades? Season 8 promises to answer those questions, not with easy endings, but with hard truths. In the new trailer, there's a quiet tension, a feeling that the story is coming full circle. Glimpses of worn faces, soldiers marching through mist, a lone voice whispering of destiny. It doesn't scream action. It breathes inevitability. You can sense that the final season will not just close a story, it will close a lifetime. The calm before this storm isn't peace. It's anticipation, the kind that shakes you from the inside. Fans can feel it too, a mix of sadness, excitement, and fear. Because once this journey ends, there will be no more time travel to escape the truth. Season 8 isn't just about where they'll go next, it's about where it all ends. The next chapter begins not with a promise, but with a reckoning. Every scar, every goodbye, every moment stolen from time will now come due. Jamie once said, "You are my home now." But what happens when even home is at war with history? And as the trailer fades to black, we're left with that haunting thought. Maybe the greatest battles aren't fought on the battlefield, but in the heart that refuses to forget. The trailer opens not with noise, but with silence, a slow breath, a flicker of light, and then the sound of a heartbeat. That's how Outlander begins its final goodbye. No words, no chaos, just time itself, pulsing like a warning. Then we see it. Jamie standing in the dim glow of dawn, his eyes fixed on something unseen. The battlefield stretches before him, yet the fear isn't in the war, it's in the waiting. You can almost feel the weight of every battle he's ever fought pressing down on him. Behind him, Claire appears calm, steady, her face marked with years of love and loss. She doesn't speak, but her silence says it all. They've come too far to turn back now. The next sequence cuts. Like shattered glass, flashes of fire. Soldiers charging through smoke, a letter burning in someone's hand. Then a voice Claire's, whispering softly, "Some things were never meant to be changed." That one line tells us everything. The story of Outlander has always danced with fate, but now it's clear the past is finally fighting back. We catch glimpses of the revolution in full force. Banners torn by wind. Muskets firing through fog, a world on the edge of rebirth. But amid the chaos, there are moments of intimacy, a hand gripping another, tear falling in candlelight, a kiss that feels like a farewell. The trailer doesn't show an ending filled with answers. It shows one filled with choices. And then there's a flash, a swirl of stones, the sound of wind rushing through time. The camera focuses on Brianna, standing before the stone circle again. Her expression is different this time. No fear, only resolve. She knows that every crossing through time costs something. Her voice breaks through the storm. If we can't change it, we'll endure it. It's not a statement of hope, it's defiance. A quick cut shows Roger clutching a photograph, his face streaked with dirt and desperation. He's somewhere unfamiliar, surrounded by ruins. The editing suggests that time itself is fracturing, timelines bending, merging, or collapsing. The final season may not just be about returning home. It might be about saving what home even means. Then comes the most haunting image of all, Jamie riding through the mist alone. The camera pulls back to reveal a horizon drenched in red light. You can't tell if it's dawn or dusk. That's the genius of it. It's both the end and the beginning blending into one. His voice cuts through the quiet. If this is the end, let it be on my feet. The music rises, bagpipes fading into strings, and we see a montage of faces. Fergus, Marsali, young Ian, and Lord John Craigh, each one looking in a different direction, as if their fates are splintering. The editing rhythm feels like a heartbeat again, fast, urgent, unrelenting. Then the final shot, Claire's face, illuminated by candlelight. Her eyes glisten, but her voice is steady. Every time we've said goodbye, I believed it was the last. But maybe love was never meant to end. The screen fades to black. Just the echo of her words remains. The trailer doesn't promise survival. It promises truth. It whispers that time's debt is due, and love, the kind that bends centuries, must finally pay its price. And as the last note fades, we're left holding our breath, realizing something terrifying and beautiful. This isn't just the end of Outlander. It's the end of time itself. Every frame of the Season 8 trailer feels like a secret waiting to be uncovered. Outlander has never just told a story. It's woven puzzles through time. Fans have become historians, detectives, and dreamers all at once. The trailer didn't give away answers. Instead, it left breadcrumbs, small clues hidden in glances, whispers and lightning flashes, and every one of them could rewrite what we think we know. The echoes fade, and the screen turns still. After all the battles, the love, the losses, this is where the story rests. Outlander began with a heartbeat, and now it ends with one. A story that crossed centuries, defied fate, and redefined what it means to love through time has finally reached its last sunrise. But maybe endings aren't meant to be sad. Maybe they're meant to remind us how much we felt. Every letter, every promise. Every goodbye in this journey was a lesson that love is never wasted, that courage doesn't always roar, and that home isn't found in a place, but in a person. Jamie and Claire showed us that even when time separates us, love keeps us tethered. It remembers, even when the world forgets. As we wait for Season 8, the final chapter, we carry every moment with us. The look in Jamie's eyes when he first saw Claire, the sound of the stones when time called her home, the ache of every separation, and the joy of every return. These aren't just scenes, they're memories that have lived with us, grown with us, and changed us. The trailer reminds us that time is a circle, and maybe, in some quiet corner of history, Jamie and Claire will keep finding each other, again and again. Because that's the promise Outlander made to all of us, that love doesn't end when the story does. It lingers like a whisper through centuries, and now it's our turn to hold on to that story, to remember what it meant, to celebrate its final chapter, not with tears, but with gratitude. Because few stories ever live this long in our hearts, so if you've felt that ache, that wonder, that pull between time and love, stay with us. Season 8 will test everything we've believed, and together, we'll uncover how it all ends. Like this video if you've ever believed in a love that defies time. Subscribe if you want to walk with us through the final journey. And share your theory in the comments. How do you think this story will end? Because while time moves on, stories like this never truly fade. They live in us, in every heartbeat, every memory, every word that refuses to be forgotten as the screen fades to black. A single line remains the heartbeat of the entire saga. The past is written, the future is waiting, but love is eternal. And just like that, the stones fall silent, the wind slows, and time stands still. For the final time, this is Outlander.